on to my Virgos? How y'all doing? So you have the Moon, the Two of Cups, the King of Swords, Three of Wands, Five of Pentacles, Queen of Pentacles. You have the Page of Swords, the Three of Pentacles, Page of Cups, and the Wheel of Fortune. Okay, so what I'm seeing here for a lot of you is the Moon, the Two of Cups, the King of Swords. A lot of you Virgos are just pretty much taking off. You know, and what I mean by that is just going on vacation. You know, making a lot of yourself scarce. I just see how a lot of you Virgos just kind of sitting back looking at the world like, you know, a lot of things going on in the world right now that a lot of you Virgos have seen. And a lot of you Virgos just looking at it like right now, for you in particular, may not necessarily be a good time to be talking to people as of right now. The Two of Cups and the King of Swords represents, again, thinking about what your next step is going to be about and thinking about what it is that you're going to be, right? Like what's your next step going to be and what exactly is going to go on. As far as dating is concerned, what's up, right? The King of Swords is a person that very much so is a strategist. They are a person that likes to understand what their next step is going to be before they actually step out there and do something. They don't like to necessarily just rush ahead. You got to understand, like in as far as the minor arcana is concerned, the King of Swords represents Aquarius. So utilizing that knowledge that a lot of you Virgos already have to have the ability to just go out there and do what it is that you need to do and actually, you know, not necessarily broadcast it to too many people, not your friends, not your family, you know what I mean? Not even to the people that you may be talking to as of right now that are potential relationship options. You're not even paying attention to, sorry about that. You're not even paying attention to even them. And the thing about it is that the Three of Wands and the Five of Pentacles represents, you know, this being a situation for you where the Three of Wands is very much so about how a lot of you Virgos, like I said, just, you know, it may be time to, you know, it's definitely time to move on for a lot of you Virgos. The Three of Wands is about just thinking about the potential of what can happen to you, where you can go, what, you know, how do I say this? Like, what's going on as far as trying to get to know other people, and are there potential lands that you can go, thinking about what it would be like to actually go there. And some of you may be potentially planning on going there, but as for right now, just sitting back and being quiet and thinking about it. But again, because you have the Moon, not necessarily letting other people know about what's going on with you internally. See, a lot of times, like I said before, Virgo has 4 main archetypes, and all of those, and all Virgos have this, you know, specifically Virgos that are like me, if you catch my drift, have 4 main archetypes, which is the shy and quiet type, the player, the shyster, and the gangster. And when it comes to the archetype, or I should say the Virgos that are not like me, if you catch my drift, they don't have my anatomy, if you catch my drift, then they are the little one, right? The teenage one, and the Mother Teresa, if you catch my drift. So a lot of times when a Virgo, they're really all one and the same, but varying degrees, because you have to be quiet if you're going to be a gangster. And you have to be quiet if you're going to be a player, because don't let people know what you're thinking. You have to be quiet when it comes to, you know, when you're doing your thing, right? Then you have to be, when it comes to the whole player thing, you have to be charming, right? No matter what capacity you're working in, whether you're being quiet, whether you're being gangster, or whether you're being the shyster, you have to be charming, right? Now, it just really depends on what type of Virgo are you, right? Some, some of us Virgos will use that, obviously, to try to run game on people and have their ways out here. But a lot of you Virgos out there, like myself, chooses not necessarily to do those things because we can see the bigger picture in it, the bigger picture of things. And we juxtapose what the first option is, because why do that when something could be much more long lasting and better, right? The potential for it could be better if we don't run those games. But like a lot of you Virgos have told me in the comment section, which is true, a lot of times, and this is something that even rings a bell for me. It's the idea that a lot of people spend a lot of time, being very concerned with all of the wrong things. And that you're right, a lot of people really can underestimate, excuse me, us Virgos, and they get very spoiled when it comes to that type of stuff. Especially if the Virgo is not the type that is looking to get over. A lot of people think that there's some sort of free lunch. But no. Let me be more specific, right? Let me be more specific. A lot of people tend to think that they can be as disrespectful as they want, and there's no point, and get what they want. And it's like, okay, but let's juxtapose that, Virgos. Why do they go out of their way to still be disrespectful when they're getting your attention? I thought the whole objective, see, this is how it is that somebody is really a loser. And this is what I mean when I say that you have to be very mindful. We have to start practicing, or I should say you should start practicing mindfulness. Do whatever it is that you want to at the end of the day. But we really should start practicing mindfulness, because people really don't take certain things into consideration, and a lack of mindfulness really makes people very stupid. And why it is that I say that in the first place is because they're running all of these games. They're trying to make it seem like they have your back to later on betray you Virgos, right? Well, while they're doing that, they don't understand how stupid they are. Factually, they're not the brightest bulbs on the tree. They're just not. And they get so mad. Okay, well, let me show and prove, Virgo, that they're not the brightest bulb on the tree. If they're so smart, then how is it that you Virgos can offer a helping hand and want people to succeed, and you want them to have that victory, and yet they still act like they have to betray you? Do you know how stupid, my dear Virgos, you have to be, where you Virgos want these people to win? You want them to get the dub. You want them to get the W, not the dub, the W, excuse me. And yet and still, they can't stop playing the games. You know what that says about their character? This is why it is that I say that a lot of you Virgos are thinking ahead, thinking about your futures, thinking about what's next. This time may be up for you in your particular location, in the sense that, looking at people, right? Whatever it is that you're into, whomever you're into, and seeing potential there, seeing a relationship there. I know it's happening for me, because the neighborhood that I'm in, my locations where I go, right, outside of the neighborhood and whatever else, I'm starting to not look at the people there that I'm into, that I would normally be into, because I don't really care. Because what am I going to do? I'm going to waste my time to essentially get the same old thing. Sorry, it's just a little bit uncomfortable. The hole closes, but you're going to get the same thing. You understand? So, you know how caught up a person is, to where you Virgos give them a helping hand, and yet and still they still act like They need to go out of their way to run these games on you. You know what it says about them? It says that they're just not the brightest bulb on a tree. And it also says that they're not really they don't they're not really equipped for higher levels of spirituality and knowledge and power. I'll just leave it there and on that point. So you have the Queen of Pentacles, excuse me, and the Page of Swords. This is about how, you know, some people may still be making you little offers, coming to you, talking to you, trying to get to know you. But the Page of Swords, these are people where some of you Virgos who try to get to know them a little bit, they're not even willing to make any kind of changes for themselves. They are already giving you a difficult interaction with them, and this is just the course of you just meeting them, and they're already giving you a difficult situation. They're already trying to make it difficult for you. Then you have the Three of Pentacles. The Three of Pentacles represents, yeah, it's a lot of it is a dove for you, Virgos, because these are people, right? Like people are really, I don't know if you Virgos know this, but how people are moving who are caught up in that delusion, it's actually getting worse. I don't know if you Virgos recognized it. I don't know if y'all saw the pattern, but it's actually getting worse. People are becoming more delusional as time goes on, more helpless, more caught up with their own ego, more indoctrinated with their own ego and what their ego is telling them, no matter how irrational it even is. We don't even have to get highly spiritual. We could just stick to logic. Their ego is getting them to a situation where their mentality is going beyond that and really devolving. And I don't know if you Virgos recognized it, but with that being said, now it's like people can't, it's because, and this is what it is I'm trying to tell y'all, the better you become is the harder people will have to try to really get one over on you. And this is why it is I said that there's two forms. I ain't gonna say there's two forms, but there's multiple forms of singlehood, because sometimes it's not you're treating people like trash and you're a bum. Sometimes, especially when you're doing your thing, especially when you're on point, a lot of people are making it so that they can't be with you. So what the thing is that they're pigeonholing you. They're trying to disqualify you some shape, form, or fashion. Oh, you don't make enough money. But how much money is it that a person really has to make in order to actually be good enough? Because it's always this subjective idea of, well, I'm not going to clarify how much I want a person to make base level, but you're just not making enough. So it gives room to always move the goalpost in that sense, always change the story as to why it is that you Virgos would never be good enough. And this is the reason why it is that I say no one should be trying too hard when it comes to creating a relationship. You should definitely make a sincere effort, but it should never be to the point where the person is just like going out of their way to be a jerk to you. You should never try that. So then you have the Three of Pentacles. A lot of you Virgos see that. So a lot of you have divorced yourselves from trying to go so hard the way that some of you used to. You see that it's uneven, that you will eventually, in essence, have to do more of the work instead of splitting it 1.5. They're going to want you to give 2, and they only offer up 1 or less. You know what I mean? Less than 1, which is 0. And then you have the Page of Cups and the Wheel of Fortune. And as a result, the Page of Cups represents how a lot of you Virgos, well, there's 2 ways to these 2 cards. The 2 ways, one of the 2 ways is the Page of Cups and the Wheel of Fortune. You can continue on to try your hardest to make things work. And you can, right? Or you can choose to become scarce. And what I mean by that is, you know, more people try their nonsense with you is the more you stop talking. The more people try their nonsense with you is the more you observe them, and the more you just respect the fact that they're going to do what it is that they're going to do, and you don't say anything, and you just move forward with your life. Because people are too, this is what it is I'm trying to say, people are too stupid, Virgo. They're not everybody, you know what I mean? There are some people who, you know what I mean, starting to wake up, but a lot of people are too stupid. People think that if they run the same game, that in essence, the same game is going to work, no matter how many times you've seen it. And people are really asleep out here. They're not just asleep when it comes to relationships. They're asleep when it comes to everything else. They're just not aware of anything. And this is part of the clip off, how sadly delusional people are to their entire life and their livelihood. They don't, no matter how difficult things get out here, they still think that they have time to be playing all these games. Inflation sky high. They still think that there's time to play all these games, when it's a time right now to get to know people and start families. If you can support it, that is. Of course, right? That goes without saying. So to see how people really haven't caught up with reality, that people still think that games work the way that they did, even as early as 10 years ago, back in 2013, it really goes to show you how caught up people really are. That they're that delusional. So let's clarify the moon. Okay, so to clarify the moon, we have the Knight of Pentacles, Four of Cups, the Lovers, and the Four of Pentacles. So the Knight of Pentacles and the Four of Cups is, again, just understanding that it's always you, Virgos, unfortunately, that has to be the one to go speak to people. The people always trying to run that little game of you need to jump through hoops. The Lovers and the Four of Pentacles, and they don't seem to understand that it's not working like that. It's not. You know, I'm hearing more stories and seeing more Virgos, you know, from just, you know, people who coming through and getting readings who are like, listen, and Pisces too, who are like, listen, I'm not dealing with this. If it doesn't work, then it doesn't work. But we can go ahead and clarify the Wheel of Fortune. Let's clarify that. Let's clarify the Wheel of Fortune. By the way, if you're finding value within this reading, then it means it's time for you to come get a personal reading from me. There's a link in the comment section called the Linktree. Click on it. It'll be ways in which you can financially support me from the books that I have that are on Amazon, my Instagram page, give me a follow there, my clothing store, as well as the option to go on my website for private tarot readings. So, to clarify the Wheel of Fortune. Now, the Wheel of Fortune represents the illusionary games, the control that other people think that they have over you. The King of Cups, the Nine of Pentacles, the Page of Pentacles, the Four of Swords. Right. So the King of Cups and the Nine of Pentacles represents, again, so now if you Virgos are not going with whatever it is that people want you to do, a lot of you Virgos, a lot of people are having a problem with it because you Virgos very much so have something established of your own. And now it's the difficulty of Page of Pentacles and the Four of Swords. They want you to give them the world, and a lot of you Virgos are just not willing to do it anymore. Though you may have been willing to do it 4, 5, 6, 10 years ago, but you're not really willing to do it anymore. I was willing to do it back in 2012. Not now. But that's pretty much it. Comment on the video, like the video, subscribe to the YouTube channel, share the video. Trying to make my YouTube channel grow to 10,000 subscribers by the end of June. Please, we have 6,740 some odd subscribers. Smash the subscribe button, smash that like button, hit the notification bell, set the notification bell to all so you can be notified whenever I drop my videos.